So yesterday, or last night at like 10:30 in the evening, we had this wicked downpour of rain, and I think it was like some mixed hail, and it's pretty cool. Arizona's kind of funny like that. Like when it decides to throw down a storm, it's like a 30 minutes max storm, and it just releases its fury and then it's done. So that happened last night, but it's left, some nice clouds out. Today, I don't think it's supposed to rain today, not in this area anyway. So I don't really have a purpose coming out today except for to explore, kind of wander around, see if the storm did anything cool. But I don't have a whole lot of time today, so I just came to an area that I can get to quick. Kind of stepped off over some hills that I haven't been to, and I'm going to see what's out here. Just kind of wander around and mostly just needed to get outside today, so that's my main purpose today. This is kind of cool. This is a cholla plant. These things will like jump off on you and stick to you, and you also have to watch out for them on the ground. In fact, like right there, you can see some on the ground. So if ever I'm hiking in an area where these are growing, I got to be careful because they'll crunch right into your foot or stick into the side of your foot, especially if you're wearing like minimalist shoes, which I usually do. So gotta watch out for these things. But the main reason I want to point this thing out in this video is because right next to it over here is one that's at a different stage in life, and you can see this cool skeleton thing. It starts to grow. There's one that's down on the ground, but it has this kind of neat little hollow holes. I've used these when I find them on the ground. I'll use them for firewood. They burn pretty good because they're nice and light and dry, but kind of interesting looking. So I just climbed up onto this this overwatch area here so I can look down. Looks like there's a little wash down there, a few pools of water. Might be a good place to explore on a different day that I have more time, when I can go either way on this and see how far I can take it. Probably meets up with one of the lakes if I go far enough that way. Might need to bring my little pack raft with me. But I think for now, because of my time, I think I'm just going to head down there and see what that's all about. So I think it's still early enough in the winter right now that most of the rattlesnakes are still hiding out somewhere. But pretty soon I'm gonna have to start watching my step more, especially when I'm going off trail like this. Then I start getting into places where my snake friends live. Found a joint fir plant, the Mormon tea plant. I'm gonna pick a little bit of this. I don't have time to brew it up while I'm out here, but I'm gonna bring enough for a drink tonight. So one of the things I'd like to get better at is tracking. I don't consider myself a tracker by any means, but I've been trying to be more observant as I'm out and actually looking at the tracks that I see, and sometimes it's hard to even make them out as tracks, but just any kind of sign of animals is what I try to observe and make note of. But I still have a lot to learn, so right now I'm just kind of observing and paying attention to things. I need to get one of those little books that has all the details of it, including like the size of the prints and all that, so I can get it down a little better. Even in the areas near the water where it's like muddier, it's still very gritty, coarse sand. So for my inexperienced eye, I can't make out much in that more than just an indention. So, but that's something I'm going to continue to learn on, and as I gain experience in that, I'll try to share it through my channel here with Adventure Ryan, so that in case anybody else is trying to learn that stuff too. So like I said earlier, my intentions for coming out here, I didn't really have anything specific planned. I just want to kind of explore around, and I didn't have a whole lot of time, so I just kind of came out here and wandered around. But I realized something. Sometimes when I come out, I like to have a purpose, like even if it's exploring a new, like a specific area that I haven't been, or if I want to work on a certain skill like a hand drill fire, or maybe I'm trying to find a certain plant that I learned something about that I want to experiment with. So I go out with that purpose to do, and I try to be aware of nature and try to be in the moment and enjoy everything as I'm going. But just from my little walking around today, I kind of realized that I think it's important to come out every now and then with without a real plan, or maybe it's better to say like with the only plan being to try to kind of connect with nature. And it doesn't have to be on like a super spiritual level or anything like that. I'm just talking like today I wandered around. I don't know anything about tracking. I mean, I know that feet make prints in dirt. It's about as far as I go. So, but going out kind of looking at things, observing the different tracks and animal signs. I found that spot where there was teeth marks in the cactus. Followed some trails around. Even just observing things like that, that cactus skeleton and things like that. All things that I've seen before, but just that was my whole purpose coming out here. Is just or rather, that's what the purpose turned into. Is just kind of looking at the different signs. And sometimes like we come out with a purpose and we're kind of get tunnel visioned. At least I do. And I still enjoy my time, and I learn new skills, or I go on some cool hike, make it to a certain summit. But I think there's value, at least for me, in coming out and just watching and observing nature doing its thing, making little mental notes of how things are, and the signs that nature leaves, that whether it's by animals or the weather or whatever. But yeah, I think there's definitely value in that. So I would recommend that to do that every now and then. That if, and I know I'm going to start doing that. That if I'll still have my times where I have specific plans in mind, but I'm going to make sure I make it a habit to come out with no real purpose other than just to take note of the signs that nature leaves. I think it helps, for me, I think it helps me get a better, deeper understanding of what's going on out here, and will help me to, improve some of the skills that I have in surviving and living off the land and that sort of thing. So fun experience though. Interesting little area here. Might come out here again and do some different things, more exploring. And I'll definitely work on that tracking. If anybody has any good resources that they found online, or certain books or tips for me as I try to get into that more. I might have filmed some perfect signs of a certain animal and didn't even notice it. And so if you pick up on that, feel free to leave that in the comments too. That'd be greatly appreciated. It's pretty much like there's some skills that I know and that I feel like I'm fairly good at, but there's most of what I do and what I do on this channel with Adventure Ryan is just trying to just my experience learning and growing and kind of experiencing what there is to be experienced out here. So, thanks for watching.